What is up, YouTubes? So I am going to go back and do something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to do a top 5 jungle gods currently in the meta. A lot of the gods haven't changed too much, but I mean, it's been a while since I've covered it. We've had a couple patches, we've had some things change. We had a LAN event, so we got to learn a little bit more. This should last until after Worlds, so these will be your top 5 gods you're looking at for people playing in the in the Worlds matches. If you have been watching me, I've been playing a little bit of Xbox Smite. I will be playing Xbox Smite Worlds. I'll be going to the open bracket, hopefully making it into the Worlds tournament play. These gods aren't necessarily the same. I have had success with all of these gods in the jungle and Xbox so far, but I'm not necessarily saying these are automatically great for Xbox. There might be some things that are better, but definitely for PC Smite, these are your top 5 jungle gods, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into it right now. Number 1 has not changed. Serqet, still number 1. She's amazing. High mobility. Blink is still really strong. It wasn't nerfed too hard. Just high burst. If you position correctly in team fights, on the outskirts of team fights, in the back of team fights, look for the stragglers. Don't go into the center. Wait for abilities to be used, those kind of things. You'll easily be able to kill somebody. If you can get into a 1v1 situation where there's a team fight going on, or you can just get that first attack off in a team fight situation, like not necessarily 1v1, but you get that first auto off before you start the 1v1, or that first taunt off, then you're going to be in a better place. You're probably, like, you realistically, if you full combo somebody, you should get the kill, especially if you have the opening, is what I'm trying to say. We'll go ahead and go over the build real quick. If you guys don't know, I have a website now. It is smitejunkies.com. The link is below the stream. If you click on that, you can find any god, any role, any build you need pretty much on there. They are all created by, right now, they're members of Envy. All the team Envy players have put builds on there. They're professional builds. Hopefully in the future we can get some more players from other pro teams to put builds on there. But anyway, that's beside the point. Use that website for builds. Use my video for builds, whatever. Either way. But yeah, just so you guys know, you can find builds on there. So to jump into the build, you're going to start with Bumba's health, mana, red pot, same as always. The red pot, people keep asking me, red pot is key for most junglers because it allows you to clear quickly. The clear and not getting behind is really important, and then just the potential to actually fight is really, really big. If someone has red pot and you don't, and they know that they have that advantage and they push it, you can really lose a lot of farm early. You can have a late level 5. It can just snowball out of control. So we go into the normal build. You got Warrior Tabby Boots as always, Jotun's Wrath as always. I still like Deathbringer over Malice first. I really think it's just better. Maybe it's just me in my head, but it's very noticeable, the Deathbringer burst damage when you're trying to burst somebody. The Malice pulls out a dot damage. You'll see it's still in the build. It's just Deathbringer's first. The dot damage is kind of sustained. You really want to burst somebody down as fast as possible. So while Deathbringer did get nerfed like, I don't know, 5 or 6 patches ago, it's still really strong in my opinion. Next item, Spirit Robe. You can get Spirit Robe or you can get Mail of Renewal. It's either or. If they have a lot of magic, Spirit Robe's strong. If they don't, go Mail of Renewal. You'll have the sustain and you'll just be able to keep fighting over and over again. Either item works. It's pretty much been the same for me forever. 5th item is Malice. We talked about this. It's really, really strong. You do not want Rage because you're not an auto attack god. You do a full ability rotation and you land 1 or 2 autos. It's not. You want Malice. Your 1 is going to crit. You'll get the dot up on them. You'll crit really hard because you have Deathbringer. You got more power. You round out the build with Titan's Bane. So your crits are just dominant. You have max CDR and you got some penetration. It's a perfect build. Always has been, always will be. I don't think this build has changed other than Spirit Robe becomes a different item every once in a while. Mail of Renewal drops in there, that hasn't changed very much. Abilities, I'm really not going to go over these. If you go on smitejunkies.com, you can see how to level up the abilities. Pretty much want to max your 1 first, your ult, your 2, and then your 3. In that order, pretty much. Your 1 is your main damage dealer. Your ult's amazing, it's true damage. Your 2, the taunt is very important, especially the longer taunt duration is really important on landing your 1. And then your 3 is used as an escape. Next god in the list. So Serqet is number 1 in the top 5 jungles for me. And I pretty much am saying that based off competitive experience and what other people seem to pick and ban also. Thor, number 2. I'm not really a huge fan of playing Thor. I think he's really strong. I don't know why. I just have trouble playing him a lot of the time. But anyway, his build, same build as always. Red pot, Thor's amazing early game, health, mana, Bumbas. Then you got Warrior Tabby, you got Jotun's Wrath to get the penetration online and the CDR to get as many ults as possible. Spirit Robe, switch in and out with Mail of Renewal, same as always, so you can cap CDR. Then you pick up Brawlers. Brawlers is amazing. It doesn't have to be used for anti-healing. Just the power and penetration is really strong. Fifth item, Hide of the Urchin. Once you start getting stacks on this item, the item is actually, it's not broken, but it's really, it's broken. It's really strong. And then sixth item, you run out with Titan's Bane just to max out on the penetration. If you're super far ahead, you can go like Deathbringer or something. If you're getting auto attacks off, Deathbringer actually hits really hard and the burst is kind of unexpected. So it is fun to go Deathbringer. Andinser was one of the first people I ever saw do it, so I tried it out, and it's actually pretty fun, and it's really good. So you could try that out instead of Titan's Bane. You can also go more defensive if you're getting destroyed. If you're frontlining a lot more and just taking a lot of damage, you can swap Titan's Bane out for a defensive item. Abilities. Your 3 and your 1 can be interchanged depending if the other team has ways to cancel your 3. You can level up your 1 instead, but pretty much max your 3, your 1, your 2, and your ult. Your ult doesn't do very much damage, as you can see. It caps out at 350. It's not important to max this out early. It's important to max out the stun so you can land your double tap. So your rank 1 of your stun does not allow you to land a double tap. Double tap, I'm talking about your 1. So what you do is your 2, you'll stun them with the 2, you'll throw your hammer out, and if the stun is long enough, the hammer will automatically hit them twice and do a buttload of damage. I think you have to have level 3 stun. It might be level 2. But I think it's level 3 where you automatically land your double tap, assuming you stun and 1 right away. But that's important. That's why it's really good. Plus, doubling the length of your stun is awesome. So that's Thor. Thor is really strong. Third on my list. This is where people, for me, if you've watched my games, watched my play lately, watched the LAN, you'll not be really surprised. But for some people, it could be kind of surprising. Mercury is my third god on the jungle tier list. The meta has shifted again, oddly enough. It was all about like really bursty, fast team fights where you killed somebody instantly, and that has kind of changed into this poke, whoever can win the poke battle kind of wins type of thing. If you are out poking the other team right before a team fight, you usually end up winning that team fight. Having that poke damage, having that advantage, usually ends up winning the team fight. So Mercury, you're looking at spamming your 1 as much as possible. It allows you to poke people out from a long distance. You're also still a threat if you're not committing to the fight. They never know when you're going to come in and toss somebody. They can't really get to you if they realize you're playing back and poking. Plus, if you're poking, your team engages, you can back off and get a really, really solid ult, and that allows you to break up the team fight. It doesn't necessarily spread them out, but it gives you the control, and it makes them lose control of the team fight in a way that most of the time, if you can hit 2 or 3 people, you're going to win the team fight. Unless your team is really just doing nothing, you're going to win the team fight. It's just how it works. And if you get a solid ult off where you ult through and you're not far from them, so you turn around and you can auto right away without like having to run after somebody, that's a ton of damage. Your first auto, especially if it crits, hits for like 1,000 on something unless you're hitting tanks. So you can just about 2-shot mages, which is really like just the turn potential, the shock potential is insane. I've actually 2-shot a Janus before, and they just don't expect it. I've ulted on hunters before who have beads right away, and because you have lifesteal, you can just out trade them because you had that jump on them. It's really, really strong. He does have to be played in this way where you're looking to poke and engage, or looking to engage and kite. You don't want to ult in and turn around on 4 people and just start fighting them 1v4. It won't work out. You don't want to be the first one into the center of the fight, or you will lose. It's just how it works. So we're going to the build now. Bumba's the start. Health pot 2 to start. You don't need a mana pot. Do not use your 3 too much. Your third ability costs a lot of mana. Unless you're actually getting a kill, don't waste the ability. You don't need mana pots as long as you're not spamming that ability for no reason. Your next item is sprint. You get rank 1 sprint because when you start that speed buff and you pop sprint, you get like plus 30 power. Your auto attacks are hitting really, really hard with sprint active. So you use sprint to clear the buff. You clear really fast. Boots, same reason. You're pretty much just getting them started, and it gives you movement speed, so you hit a little bit harder. It's not very much, but hit a little bit harder. So full build, you're finishing Warrior Tabby. You do not need attack speed on Mercury because of your 2. You do end up getting it later, but that's just because you aren't getting it because you need attack speed. Second item, Golden Bow. Like I said, poke is very, very important. Golden Bow increases your poke potential. It allows you to clear It allows, one thing I've really noticed that's undervalued is when you're fighting somebody in creeps and you throw your one on the ground, it hits them, it kills the creeps, and the golden bow procs. So there's no I'm gonna hide behind my creeps and you can't auto me type thing. You just clear it all and then just chase them down. Third item, when you come online, Deathbringer. As soon as you have Deathbringer, you actually are like, you're a super big threat. In an average game where you're not demolishing them, you're probably going to finish Deathbringer between 18 and 20 minutes if you have okay farm. Actually, decent farm will get you Deathbringer 18 to 20 minutes. That's okay. Deathbringer is just so important that once you're online with Deathbringer, your crits are hitting for 4, 5, 600, and you can 3-shot, 2-shot mages at this point. It's a huge threat. Plus, your poke damage spikes really high. Malice, third item, you want to finish out your crit as fast as possible, just so you're critting on every auto attack. The crits are what make you good. Fifth item, Soul Eater. You get health, you get the lifesteal needed because you're critting for 5, 600, you're lifestealing for like 80, 90, 100 on those crits. Pretty big, pretty awesome. And then Titan's Bane, you have no penetration in the build up to this point. Titan's Bane is really key. Without penetration, you will not kill tanks. Once you finish Titan's Bane, you'll not crush tanks, but you'll crit them when you're going to be critting a lot. You'll crit them for 300. So between 250 and 300, which is really nice. It's really good. Abilities, max your 1, max your ult, max your 2, max your 3. Your 3 is just used for crowd control. It's not used for damage. Your 1 is your poke, most important ability. Your ult is maybe on the same level as importance as your 1 because a big ult changes the game. Using your ult properly changes the game. Then your 2 allows you to box. Once you're at that stage of the game where you're looking to box people, the 2 is key. And that's how you level up your abilities. And that's why Mercury is good. So fourth on this list is going to be Hun Batz. You saw him played a decent amount in the LAN. Super strong, really, really good. He's just never fallen out. He doesn't have counter matchups really. He can deal well with his counter matchups like a Weak3n or a Thor, stuff like that. So Hun Batz is definitely number 4. Maybe interchangeable with number 3. Same start as always. Bumbas, this should not be boots. I actually need to change this. I used to go boots. I don't like it anymore. I still think the clear is just too important. So I go Bumbas, red pot, health, mana. You went 3 health, 2 mana. This will just allow you to clear early as fast as possible. And it does give you fight potential. If you have a better mid laner than their mid laner and in the early game, you can actually fight because Hun Batz is slow, is nasty, and kind of broken. If you get a lucky crit, critting for 100, 120 at level 1, 2, 3, 4 is just crazy. So full build, Warrior Tabby, your ability based, Jotun's Wrath, ability based when I get as many ults up as possible. Deathbringer, your passive gives you crit after an ability, so having extra crit from Deathbringer as well as critting harder allows you to burst faster. Once again, it's a situation where when you're playing Hun Batz, you want to burst somebody as fast as possible. You do not want to sustain, chase them. That's just not what you want. Fourth item, Spirit Robe. You can go Mail Renewal, interchangeable, just like every other build. Malice is fifth item, just to get more crit online. Make sure your crits are doing a little bit more damage. You get the dot damage, it's really nice. And then you round out with some penetration. You can swap out, if you need pen early, you can swap out Titan's Bane here and finish up with a different item. You can even go Titan's Bane here and pick up a defensive item if that's the situation you're in. But if you're looking to just be that carry, that Hun Batz jungle assassin, this is the build you're looking at. It's really, really good. Leveling up abilities, I max my 2 first, I max my ult second, I max my 3 third, I max my 1 last. I realize the 1 gives you longer or a shorter cooldown. It's only 4 seconds. You're already getting CDR anyway. It's not that crazy. And your 3's damage is just a lot stronger. You have, say, like, you can see it's 50 more damage, same scaling. It's just really, really nice. Just make sure you don't use your 3 for poke too often because the mana cost can be a lot. It's just really good for actually trying to get into people and using that as an initiator instead of your 1. So that's how you're leveling up abilities on Hun Batz. And last but not least, we're going to a warrior, one of the the best non-assassin jungler, the only one in top 5 that's not an assassin. She's fallen off a lot. She's received some nerfs. Her ult isn't as OP just because it's on a longer cooldown, but she's still really strong. She can be very, very aggressive in this meta, with mages being prominent. As long as you're using your abilities right, like properly in a 1v1, 2v2 team fight situation, you can come out on top. Starting with Bumbas, health pots, red pots, mana pots. Same as always, you can be really aggressive early with red pot, you can clear really strong, it's nice. Key build, Warrior Tabby Boots, just to make your abilities hit harder. Itch of all, you get the attack speed online and you just become a much bigger threat. You can get off extra autos when you slow somebody, you can get off extra autos on your 3 because of the range. It's just It's a really good item. Gives you pen, gives you the attack speed you need. Third item, I go Frostbound. Gives you some defense. You get health. It's not necessarily defense, but you get that health that you need to stay in a team fight. You can also stick to targets that don't have high mobility, which is kind of broken. Once people realize they can't get away from you, they just kind of get frustrated and don't react properly. Fourth item, Mail of Renewal. This can be Spirit's Robe. If you really don't want the CDR, you could even get Hide of the Urchin here, but I really like Mail of Renewal. Same as always for the sustain. You get a kill in a team fight, you get a lot of health back, a lot of mana back. You also have CDR, which is kind of undervalued on Bellona. Fifth item, Executioner. This brings up that damage spike a little bit. You get more penetration, you get the attack speed, and you get some power that you're missing. And then last item, I get Hide of the Urchin. Once you get stacks on Hide of the Urchin, even though you're getting it last, which you'll get stacks. You'll be team fighting at the end of the game. That's how the game works. So you will get stacks on your Hide. It'll just take a little bit. It might take 1 or 2 team fights. And assuming you win the first team fight, who cares? You won anyway. You can end the game. So, yeah, Hide of the Urchin is how I round out the build. Abilities, I max my 2. I max my ults. I get my 1. I actually level up a little bit more because the slow now increases with like leveling it up. So I get rank 2 or rank 3 of my 1, and then I max out my 3. So basically you would see my 1 sitting at rank 3 for the whole game, while then I would finish maxing out my 3. So I pretty much max my 2, my ult, I start to max my 1, and then I stop and I finish the build by maxing my 3 and go back to my 1. It's kind of confusing, but that's just how I do it. If you look at Smite Junkies on the builds, I don't actually do that on there just because I didn't want to confuse people. It's really, you could do either way. You could, if you're looking for the damage poke potential with your 3, it's kind of nice to level that up, but it's also nice to have a little bit more slow and allow that sustain to last a little bit longer, allow your team to catch up to the people. I realize it's only 5% more slow with each level, but it's just something it's kind of noticeable and I like it. So there are your current top 5 junglers. I hope this video helped you guys. I will try to keep up with these. I'm sorry it's been so long. If you could like the video, subscribe to my channel, comment, do all 3. It would really, really help me. It's really appreciated. It's nice to see what you guys actually like. If you watch other videos and you like those videos, please do the same thing because I can create more content that you guys actually like if you guys are telling me you like it. Yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. Probably be some gameplay. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.